So in this video, we'll be looking at section 6.2, adding and subtracting square roots. And so our essential question will be, how do I add or subtract square roots? So what we need to do is be comfortable with the idea of like terms. So if I asked you to do 3x plus 5x, you would tell me it's 8x. It's the same with square roots, but instead of an x, I have to have the same exact square root. So to add or subtract square roots, we need the same exact square root. Then we add or subtract the coefficients, those numbers out front. So for example, just like my 3x plus 5x equals 8x, I can do, what if I had 3 root 2 plus 5 root 2? They have the same exact square root, so now I just add or subtract the coefficients out front. So it's going to be 8 root 2. What if I had, so this is example number 1, example number 2, say I had 5 root 7 minus 18 root 7. We have the same exact square root, so I just subtract 5 minus 18, would be negative 13, and then that square root of 7 stays the same. If I had 15 root 6 plus 20 root 6, what would this equal? Well, I have the same exact square root, so now I can add the numbers out front. So I'd have 35 root 6. Okay, so let's up the difficulty. What if I had 5 root 2 plus 7 root 3 minus 8 root 2 plus 4 root 3? What would that equal? I'm only going to combine the ones that are alike. So these are alike. They both have the root 2, so I can combine the 5 root 2 with the minus 8 root 2. So 5 minus 8 would be negative 3 root 2. And then I have these two that are alike, my positive 7 root 3 and my positive 4 root 3. They're alike because they have the same square root. So now I add the numbers out front. Positive 7 plus 4 is going to be a plus 11 root 3. Can I combine these two? I cannot. These are different square roots. So I cannot combine this. So this is my final answer. So make sure we keep that straight. We cannot combine different square roots. So this is my final answer because that's the square root of 2, that's the square root of 3, so I got to keep them separate. Okay, so that's like the introductory side. Let's see if we can make this a little more difficult. Okay. Simplify square roots before adding or subtracting. So let's see what this looks like. Let's say I had this as an example. Say we had 5 square root of 8 plus 3 square root of 2. So it doesn't look like I can simplify. I can add these because they have different square roots. But can I simplify the square root of 8? Let's do that. So over here, I'll do my square root of 8 simplifying. So I have 8. And then I'll simplify it by setting up my factor tree. So I have 8, which becomes 4 times 2. This becomes 2 times 2. So now I have 2 square root of 2. My pair popped out, and my other number that was left behind goes back inside. So now I'm going to bring my 5 down, times, and now I have this square root of 8's become 2 root 2. So I have 5 times 2 root 2 plus 3 root 2. We'll multiply these together, and I get 10 root 2 plus 3 root 2. Now we do have the square roots, the same square root. So I can add these together, and I get 13 root 2. And that's my final answer. So if we see we want to try to simplify our square roots, and then we'll see if we have like terms. And if they're alike, we'll add them. So let's look excuse me. So let's look at root 45. So we can do 3 root 45 plus 7 root 3 minus 8 root 5. That's my second example. So it looks like I'm going to have to simplify the square root of 45 first. And then we can see if we have some like terms. So far, are these the last two alike? Is 7 root 3 alike 8 root 5? They are not. That is a square root of 3. That is a square root of 5. These are different. Let's see what 3 root 45 becomes. So I'm working on my root 45 here. So this is my side work. So 45 can be split into 9 times 5. 9 is 3 times 3. So the square root of 45 becomes 3 root 5. I got my pair of 3's that pops out front. And then I got my 5 that's by itself, and that goes on the inside. Okay, so I have my 3 root 45. So I'm going to have 3 times, and what did root 45 become? Well, root 45 became 3 root 5. So I'm going to go 3, that's the 3 from the beginning, times 3 root 5, like so. So I want to make sure this is clear. This 3 right here is this 3 right there. This 3 root 45 right here is what came from there. So root 45 became this 3 root 5, and then this 3 root 5 came down here. Now I can bring all this stuff straight down. So I'll have plus 7 root 3 minus 8 root 5. So we'll multiply our numbers on the outside together, and now we have 9 root 5 plus 7 root 3 minus 8 root 5. And then that will give us, once we combine our like terms, we'll have our final answer. 9 root 5 minus 8 root 5 is going to be a positive 1 root 5 plus 7 root 3, combining our like terms. And so that's how we add and subtract our square roots, always making sure we simplify any square roots we can first, and then combining the ones that are alike, that have the same exact square root, but only combining the numbers that are out front. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.